Greetings, magnificent, beautiful spirit soul, dear friend. Take a nice deep breath, breathe into your heart, and my topic, the healing secret of the ages. Very interesting about healing. Also the heel of your foot on barefooted. Yesterday it was really great at my house because there wasn't any snow. There's snow up here at the lake. And, doing gardening now. It's just get the soil ready, plant the seeds, do whatever I need to do, and be ready for whatever goes on with the weather. And then growing what's the most nutritious. Okay. So the healing secret of the ages is about having a wonderful attitude, a beautiful attitude, an attitude of love, an attitude of joy, enthusiasm, an attitude of wholeness. And hate is a very strong word because it's explaining a feeling of such envy, jealousy, and hatred because you've been hurt. But hate comes from fear. That they're afraid. People are afraid they're going to lose their lifestyle, or afraid that they'll be harmed or hurt. And then the hatred is for these people or whoever I think is going to harm or hurt me. As I say, for instance, a person is sick, but then they're out tweeting all of this hatred out there about hate this person, hate that person, while they're getting ready for surgery and tweeting out their remarks of hate to others and expecting to be healed. It is a very strange thing. So there's a number of the healing secrets of the ages, and it is about this great healthy attitude. And it's living in a healthy way. What I like about the Essene teaching, the Essene Gospel of Peace, because there was a great teacher, Yeshua, and the Essenes were teachers, and they also had the habit, it was part of what they did, that their young people would go on vision quests, or they would go study the different mystery schools, like the Library of Alexandria, perhaps, of course, in Egypt. Or they would go to India, and they would study with the great mystics and of the ancient knowledge. And in our day, a lot of times we put all that down and want to hide it or make them look like fools, or then because India then became so poor when it was incredibly wealthy until it was invaded. And when you look at how the invasions take place in any kind of an individual who'd want to conquer someone, and it's been built into that manifest destiny and those kind of things, that would basically invaders go in, and then they would then take over and make slaves of everybody else or kill them off, and now it's my place. And then they take all the jewels, and of course all the crown jewels in England were all stolen from people that they had invaded and had stolen that. But then we say, it belongs to the queen and it's fabulous because of her stuff. Well, how did she get it? Well, they stole the stuff. Well, anyway, that's how they got it. And then we go, that's nice, this is beautiful, this is sweet, because that was then, now is now. But it isn't. It's the same thing going on over and over again. And when the person gets sick, it's called dis-ease. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening. It's the food people don't realize. And it's one of the healthiest things to be a vegetarian. But the problem with being also vegan is the brain will need some animal fat, which is butter. If you get good stuff, if you had a cow, raw milk, and you know what's going into it, and the cow is everything. But see, we've been so disassociated from natural living. When people live in high-rise buildings, when people live in a place that, cement and metal everywhere, and they're not the trees, and your feet don't touch the earth, and your shoes don't come off. I remember years ago, because I was playing the part, and I was wearing the high heels in New York, I'd have to take my shoes off and go barefooted in my nylon socks, or whatever they're made from, because the pain in my feet was so terrible, because I had to look good. And then my back went out, and they were going to do back surgery. This was many years ago. And I said, no way. So then I got a yoga teacher and an exercise teacher. She came to my house 3 days a week, and I, learned Iyengar yoga, and I would teach yoga at my retreats and things, light yoga for people. And it's stretching, and it's, being in nature and everything. So anyway, um, then I gained all my strength. I stopped wearing those real high heels because, wanted to look good, wanted to be attractive, wanted to be sexy, the whole thing. It was, so somebody wants me. That it must be I'm okay, because if nobody wants me, I'm not okay. You get all of these. This is a disease, lack of ease. That means that's violence that we've done to ourselves. And always, I'm not good enough, or I'm not pretty enough, I don't have enough money, I'm not successful enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too fat, I'm too thin. They're always judging by the body, but that's not who we are. Okay? But this body is also the expression of what we have in consciousness in our subtle body. And the healing secret of the ages is to eliminate dis-ease. And that is that lack of comfort, which is that place of being, that worm of anxiety in the stomach is no longer there because you don't have fear. And when we collect all of our hurts and all the people who've criticized us, and well, we want to get even and we want to get them, and then whoever you're listening to that's telling you about this and that and this and that, instead of owning yourself. And when you own yourself, you're not in any group, you don't belong, you're not a member in a sense. You can support it. Great. Whatever that is. You want to, give your money to whatever is helping you, and that's going to help other people, obviously, or animals. You're kind in that way. You're giving and you're loving, and you're prospering. But the healing secret of the ages was to take responsibility and ownership of your own physical body by what does the physical body need, because it's made of the elements. And when you look to eat for nutritional value, and all, for energy and vitality, and also for taste and for comfort, you find that, but also for your words that you speak, what you listen to from others, what you feel inside of you, and that sense of wanting to destroy or to kill or to maim or to abuse yourself or anyone else does not create a healing environment. And you want your home to be a healing environment and have some plants around and giving that oxygen. Stop fighting with loved ones. There's nothing to fight about. In fact, if we're going to be in relationship, you've got to respect the other person and their free will and to be who they are. And you have your agreements together as to how you partner or how you work it out. Or some of them, you don't even have to say what they are, but you're working as a team. And you start gathering your team members and getting yourself in that great supreme attitude of knowing the truth that always is. And from that place, you're a spiritual healer. But so many people do not want to do that. They try and solve all their problems in their thinking and their hatred and their anger and their resentment and all of this, and they're wondering why, and fear and guilt, why they feel so bad. And then they open themselves, the electronics that they're using, these cell towers of this and that, so people can get their movie in half a second. When why would you even want to watch these movies? They're programming devices. You're paying for your sickness. People are paying for their disease. People are feeding it and wondering why they're starving to death of love and affection and caring. And it's always, well, they didn't give me this, and they didn't give me this, and they owe me this, and my relatives went through this, so you got to pay me for that, and you did this and that. And it's like, it's this kind of a thing that keeping people in constant turmoil. You've got to separate yourself and get to your place. And that's what your life's work is about, because there's no greater work in the world than you being who you are, because you're an eternal person and you cannot die. And yes, even words, person is different from people, and citizen is different from this, because these are all man-made laws and rules. Why? To control and govern you. Why? Because you are a creative being, you are a divine being, you're a creator God, and that's who you are, whether they like it or not. And when you think Yeshua and the teaching of the Essene was actually, I mentioned before, was clean living in the sunshine and in nature. Get back to who you are, clean out the intestines, get rid of all of the bad oils, the old animal flesh. People's most bodies are crematoriums. They're just cremating. It's a barbecue all the time. And you are a pristine being. So it all depends on what you want. And the healing secret of the ages is stop doing what makes you sick and do what makes you well. And then all is well. Right now.